Hello guys, in today's video I'll be doing a full top-down analysis of EURUSD starting from the 6 months time frame all the way towards the 4-hour time frame. So if that sounds interesting to you, then be sure to stick till the end of this video. And so with that said, then let's get right into it. Okay, and there we are on the 6 months time frame, and we can clearly see we are super bullish as price has been making higher highs and higher low, higher high, higher low, and we can clearly see that's our current higher high. So if I am to mark this in a true SMC way, or if I am to map the market structure like we usually do, then we can clearly see exactly right here that price has taken out the major inducement. So after price has taken out, so let me mark this, major IDM, and we can clearly see that after price has taken out the major inducement, it made that reversal all the way to that high. Of course, this will make us our break of structure. And after that, you can clearly see the pattern repeats and price reverses back and takes out, of course, the major inducement again. After that, it continues lower for additional sell side liquidity. This here will make, of course, what we call the engineering liquidity. So before I mark that, the reason as to why I marked that as the engineering liquidity is because we can clearly see our extreme order flow exactly right there, and price reversed from that extreme order flow. So there we have it, our extreme order flow, and we can clearly see the extreme OB down below here. It's still not mitigated, so probably in the future if price makes it there, then that will act as a reversal zone. But right here we can clearly see price reversed upon mitigation of the extreme order flow, and of course this here will make the engineering liquidity. So there we have it, our engineering liquidity. Price mitigated the extreme order flow and then reversed back and made a break past the swing point high. Of course, this will make a break of structure to the upside. So we can clearly see price is making consecutive boss events to the upside, meaning we are actually bullish. And of course, this here is our swing point low. And right now we can clearly see we are currently in this trading range. Price has already taken out the minor inducement. You can clearly see this here is the recently formed valid pullback on that impulsive leg, and price has already taken that. So yeah, this will be our minor IDM for inducement. Okay, so if I am to mark the POIs on this range, we can clearly see that all order flows are mitigated, so there is no need for me to mark them. Yeah, you can clearly see this is mitigated, and of course the one following it is still mitigated. So let me go to the order blocks, and we can clearly see our extreme order block exactly right there, and price has already mitigated it. We can clearly see upon the mitigation of our extreme order block, price gave this clean bullish pin bar, and you can clearly see that bullish candle signifying that price is bullish also on the lower time frame. So if I am to head, of course, to the lower time frame from the 6 months time frame, that is the weekly, we can clearly see, okay, so first let's mark this external high so that we know where price is heading. Then now let me get back to the lower time frame. So we can clearly see exactly right here upon the mitigation of the extreme OB of the higher time frame, that is the 6 months. We can clearly see on the weekly time frame. So I can actually confidently say that this here is, of course, the weekly break of structure. So let me change this color to this one. So that's the weekly break of structure. This here is, of course, the external high, and we can get to the monthly time frame so that we get to see a reduced zone. Yeah, so you can clearly see pretty much clear here on the monthly time frame. Everything is seen clearly. So we have, of course, our order block here, of which price has already mitigated it. So this means if it's mitigated, then it's of no use to us. And the one that follows after it is, of course, this one here. So, and it is actually the order block price is currently reversing from. So there we have it, our extreme bearish order block, and price is reversing from there. So let's get back to the lower time frame. So here we can clearly see exactly right here upon the mitigation of this extreme order block from the 6 months time frame, price made a break past the recently formed valid pullback. We can clearly see that. So what does that mean? That is, of course, our change of character. Price created a number of valid pullbacks until it retraced and took this recently formed valid pullback, of course, the inducement, and of course, head lower all the way to our extreme order flow below here. And you can clearly see after mitigating that extreme order flow, that's where price reversed back with all that momentum heading all the way to break past this. We can clearly see that is, of course, the swing point high prior to this bearish retracement that mitigated our extreme order block. You can clearly see price here has left an order block, so probably this order block will be a reaction zone in the future. So let's mark it, but for now it's of no use to us. And currently we can clearly see that this here is, of course, our new trading range low. This is our break of structure, so actually it will be better if we mark it. So there we have it, our break of structure. This here is the inducement that price took. So we can clearly see that on the weekly time frame also we are bullish on the EURUSD. And right here, if I am to mark the valid, the inducement, of course, we can clearly see this is the major inducement and price has already taken that. And we can clearly see price is doing this. This here is, of course, the extreme OB of this range. But we know that since we have interacted with a higher time frame valid reversal area, then this means that our internal structure is now unnecessary. And this extreme order block from this break of structure, it is now a weak zone, just a reaction zone to push price lower. So I'll just name this as a reaction zone to push. Okay, so let me use a weak. Yeah, it's actually a weak order block to push price or to make that reaction all the way towards these zones prevailing with the trend. So you can clearly see exactly right here, this is our, we can clearly see there, that is our high, this is our low, this is a major inducement and price has taken it, and you can clearly see that bullish momentum. Okay, so if I'm to mark the order flows here, pretty much clear, we can clearly see this here will be our extreme order flow. So we have there our extreme order flow. The sell side liquidity right before it, so of course the engineering liquidity, so let's mark that. And of course the decision order block is none other than, not the decision order block, but the decision order flow is none other than this one here, as it is the swing or the opposing move before that buying displacement that heads higher all the way towards this break of structure. So I can still mark the order blocks available in our ranges here, and we can clearly see this here is our extreme order block. So we have our extreme order block, and of course we have our decisional order block right here. So now we have our valid zones marked and sound. So there we have our decisional bullish order block, and we have our extreme bullish order block right here. Okay, so now price has taken out the major inducement and it's actually giving this reaction. So I will be now shifting to the lower time frame so that now I can get to see the bigger picture. Okay, so this is the weekly, so meaning the lower time frame will be the 4 hour definitely. And right here on the 4 hour, we can clearly see, okay, so I'll be starting from where price created the swing point high. So we can clearly see our swing point high. Of course, the weekly swing point high was exactly right there. Or should I mark all this? Okay, so back to here, we can clearly see that, okay, so this here is irrelevant. This is irrelevant. The one relevant is this one, and this is the trend that we'll be using. So that's the reason as to why I mark this one here as a weak OB. So if I am to mark, of course, our swing points on the weekly, we can clearly see this is the swing point that price broke. This one here is our low, and of course, this one here, this one here will be our higher high. So now let's get back to the lower time frame for the weekly, that is the 4 hour, and we can clearly see exactly right here. Okay, so we can clearly see the complex pullback. Yeah, the trend, of course, price took this high. So let me change the color. So price took that. Of course, that will be our major inducement, then reversed back and made a break. So this here will make, okay, so that is, of course, major inducement takeout. This one here is a break of structure. and we can clearly see the pattern repeats. Of course, price takes this inducement. Okay, so this means that okay, so let me actually okay, so there we have it, the inducement. After that, price mitigated that order block, and of course, this is a break of structure. So H4 is bearish. We can clearly see that. So right here, we know that this one here is of course the major inducement from the weekly time frame. Yeah, this one. It is the major inducement from the weekly time frame, and that is the cause for that bullish move. So this means that our bearish bias on the 4 hour ended after the takeout of this. Okay, I mean the takeout of this major inducement on the weekly time frame. So price has taken out that inducement there, made a break of structure. So you can clearly see the complex pullback. Price was actually printing those break of structures to the downside pretty well here. Yeah, and you can clearly see, of course, right now after price has taken out this major inducement on the weekly time frame, and top of that, we can clearly see price made a break past the inducement pullback and also took this major inducement, mitigated this. You can clearly see this hidden order block below here. I mean this hidden order block below there, and after that headed higher and made a break of structure exactly right there. So this means that this order block that was present somewhere there is of course, or in that case was of course a weak zone, just like the weak zone we have identified. Okay, I mean the weak zone I'm talking about is this one here, the one that has made this reaction towards the weekly, yeah, the weekly major inducement. So same with this one. This one here will of course be now a week. So I'll just call this week. This is a break of structure. So we know what happens. Actually, it's a change of character. We all know what happens after price has interacted with a higher time frame reversal area. This becomes a change of character. I mean the inducement pullback or the recently formed valid pullback. Once price makes a break past that, then that becomes a change of character. Then you can clearly see this became a reaction zone. Price made that reaction all the way to this can clearly see all the way to this takeout of inducement, mitigation of this order block or rejection block, whatever, then price reversed back, and this is of course a break of structure. So this means now the bias on the H4 is bullish, as now buyers have taken in control. Yeah, this one here is of course, can clearly see now the buyers are in control. Okay, so now this means we are looking forward for price to take out this major inducement. So this is of course our major inducement. And of course, we can clearly see if I am to mark the order flows, then we have this order flow being mitigated. So there we have it, our invalid order flow. So this is of course our invalid order flow. This one here is of course now our valid order flow, and this will make our extreme order flow. Even though that's the one that caused the break of structure, I will call it the extreme, as it is the one, I mean the farthest unmitigated order flow in our dealing range. And of course the order block here, we can clearly see this one here. I will still not call it the decisional, but rather the extreme order block. So the order block below here will now be nothing but just an origin order block that will only be valid if our extreme order block here fails. Okay, so now here we have it, our major inducement, and of course we have our engineering liquidity. So we have these zones, price looking forward to take. So there we have it. And of course, where will price be reversing from? Of course, somewhere here. So we can clearly see that price has been making, so you can clearly see when price was creating this complex pullback. So there are sellers in control. And right here after the inducement takeout, again, sellers in control. And if I am to mark the order blocks here, you can clearly see this order block. So there is an extreme bearish order block. So in this case, it's a weak one. And of course, the decisional is none other than this one, the one that caused the break of structure. So this is just a weak. So the one that, okay, so right here we can clearly see a reversal area, but price can actually reverse from there. You never know. So right now I'll just Yeah, I'll just delete that. So let me delete this and leave this here. This is the nearest one. So price can head higher to this before making that reaction all the way to the inducement takeout and ultimately mitigate a valid area here, or continue all the way to the extreme, of course, the origin order block. But if I am to set a buy limit order, I would set it from there. Stop loss, of course, below this low, and of course I'll be targeting the weekly high, of which it is of course this one here. So if I was to set that limit order, but since I don't want my trades to last that long, then in that case I'll just have to wait and see what price does here on Euro USD. So this here is nothing other than just a reaction zone right there, and we can clearly see the buyers are in control here on Euro USD as price has made a change of character exactly right there after taking out this weekly major inducement. And right now we can clearly see that price is heading higher, and in due time we anticipate price taking the inducement, mitigating the extreme order flow, or even better the extreme order block before making that move all the way to the upside, or before continuing with its prevailing trend. So if I am to mark the swing points here, we can clearly see that, okay, so let me mark the swing points. We can clearly see this. So this is our low, this one is of course our higher high, this is our higher low, and of course our higher high will be somewhere there. But before that, we can clearly see that we are bearish. We can clearly see price was making lower highs and lower lows. Lower high, lower low. Yeah, we can clearly see all of this until here price interacted with this major inducement and respected it after this break of this inducement pullback, took this minor inducement, actually major inducement, mitigated a zone here, and you can clearly see made a break of structure. So now this means price is looking forward to take all this sell side liquidity, mitigate a valid zone here before making that ultimate move, or before continuing, of course, with its prevailing trend. So that is my bias on EURUSD, and that is what I'm looking forward on EURUSD. So for any swing trader or day trader, if this has helped, or if you find this informative, or if you've learned something, do me a favor, drop a like, and of course I will see you in the next video.